everyone, welcome back to my channel. I asked on Instagram for you to drop any fitness and fat loss related questions, and you've been a lot to ask me questions, so I've selected a few and I'm gonna try to answer them all. It's just gonna be a little bit of a chill Q&A talk. First question is, where do I start? You are going to start with watching my free fat loss training that I'm going to link somewhere here, because this is going to give you all the tips you need and the actual in-depth step-by-step process that I've used for myself, that I use for my clients. So this is where you want to start. If you're talking about what actions can I take, what type of actions should I take, just the next one. Like the first one that comes to mind, if it's a workout, if you have time to do a workout right now, go do that right after this video. If it's a healthy meal, go do that. It's only going to be one of these two options, or just going back to sleep and fixing your sleep schedule. Don't overcomplicate it. Just the first thing that comes to mind as to what should you do, because you know what you should do, and go do that. And then the next step and the next step and the next step. I like to view these as taking multiple steps every day towards a healthier you, towards your goals. You know, it's going to be healthy breakfast, step 1, then workout, step 2, then healthy lunch, step 3. You just want to figure out, okay, what's the next thing I can do to get to my goals, and then do that. You'll figure it out as you go. It's highly individualized to what you can do, what you like to do, what you're willing to do, but also to how your body reacts and how your lifestyle works. And if you work in the evening, if you work in the morning, if you're a night owl, you know, all of these things are going to make the plan, but you don't know, and you will not know until you start. Watch the training, and right after, figure out exactly what's the next step you can take based on the time it is, and go do that. Can I have transformation like yours without going to the gym? Yes. However, if you don't want to go to the gym, if you don't feel like it, or if you don't, it's not convenient, if you prefer working out at home, what I would advise is getting a good set of dumbbells and resistance bands. That would get you pretty far, because there are a lot of workouts that you can actually do. Some of my clients only work out from home and are getting great results already, so I will share that a little bit more down the road. But I prefer the gym, but I get that it's not everyone's home. You can also do Pilates as the form of resistance training. It's just a personal preference that I really like weightlifting, and I feel like it's best to actually still kind of build that hourglass figure. In terms of exercise, it's very often whatever you like, whatever is convenient, whatever you can do. So if you prefer working out from home, definitely work out from home. How many days per week should I work out? 5 is my lucky number. I have one client to which I shared the success stories or the case study or whatever you want to call it last week. She was working out 3 times per week, so she did 3 strength training at home with 2 dumbbells and 1 resistance band. She was not doing any cardio because she was getting her steps in. It was a mom of 3. I'll link it somewhere around so you can actually watch it. Mom of 3, teacher, walking a lot, doing a lot of chores, and loving gardening, so she was doing enough. She was working out 3 times, worked out for her. I have on the other side of the spectrum clients that prefer working out like for 25 minutes every day. And if that's what works for them, I'm happy. I would never say you have to work out for an hour every day, because that's bullshit. I would say that 5 hours per week is a good amount to target, or daily for less time. How much rep series at the gym for optimal results? The way I do it is 12 to 15 reps for 2 to 3 sets. You could also do 8 to 12 reps for 4 sets. 60 to 90 seconds of rest for each option. Keep in mind that the heavier you lift, the more rest you're gonna need, and the least reps you're gonna do, but the more sets you will do. Next question, do you change your workout routine according to your cycle? No. I don't think that cycle syncing is I don't want to get yelled out, but I don't think it's a real thing, in the sense that I get PR on my periods. Last time I went to the gym, I got a PR for the leg press, and I did 120 kilos, and I did 15 reps, and I felt great, and I was on day 2, which is the worst day of my periods. So no. If I feel more tired, I will take that into account and maybe push myself a little bit less. If I don't feel like running because I'm having like really bad cramps, again, I will adapt my training, but I don't anticipate to change the plan, because sometimes I don't need to, and I like not having to change the plan as well. What exercises are best for toned abs? I made an entire video on that. I will link it because it's great and I really encourage you to watch it. It is all about deep core exercises and stomach vacuum, which again is a deep core exercise. So I have my routine that I do 2 to 3 times. It's gonna be 10 minutes max because I hate abs. I'm gonna give you my favorite in order. You've got the plank. My favorite, I can do 2 minutes and 30 seconds now. I think I could go longer, but I just get bored. I love the renegade rows. That's one of my favorite as well. It's really great, and I basically love any exercise that involves dumbbell and weight in general. No crunches, by the way, it's not gonna be helpful. You may not have the proper form. Basically what you're doing with crunches is you are working against resistance, aka gravity. So you are building the muscle, like the ab muscle, like the visible six pack. If you build that muscle, your waist could look bigger. So that's not really what we want. So deep core exercises are best. The third one on the list of my favorite would be high plank tap shoulder. This is my third favorite. These are my top 3. You don't need to work out your abs like for 15 minutes every day to actually see results. As I said, I would do 10 minutes for like 2 to 3 times per week. So between 20 and 30 minutes per week is enough. What's the best workout split for fat loss? I feel like I'm going to be repeating myself a lot in this video, but that's just to show you how fat loss doesn't need to be complicated, and a lot of the questions get answered by the same answer. 2 to 3 strength training sessions and 2 to 3 cardio sessions. That's the best thing that I would recommend for fat loss. Strength training would be 45 minutes to an hour, and then the cardio session 30 to 45 minutes. Each of them, whatever you want to do. If you like biking, if you like swimming, if you like walking, if you like hiking, do that for the cardio. Don't go for a run just because you have to run. It's stupid to try to make yourself do something that you hate because you're not going to be consistent with it. And it's, at the end of the day, fat loss is all about consistency, and even fitness in general. Same for the weightlifting session. If you don't like to do weightlifting, if you prefer Pilates, do Pilates. And if you don't like any forms of cardio, like if you despise cardio, 7 to 10K steps every single day would be compensatory. Ooh, one last question about training. That is going to be a nice bridge between workout and nutrition. What should I eat before and after a workout? I would advise you to have a high carb meal before the workout. However, what I tell all my clients is the closer you're getting to your workout, the less amount of food you want to get. So you want to have maybe like a banana 30 minutes before if you didn't have time to eat before. Or you can have a proper meal, but I would suggest 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours before, just so you don't get stomach upset. If you do have the time to take the actual meal, I always suggest to have a high protein meal beforehand. If you have that high protein option before, if you have the time and so on, because sometimes you don't, you wake up, you eat a banana and then you go for your workout. That works as well. I used to do that. It works fine. Now I have the time to actually have a proper meal, and I like oatmeal or I like avocado toast ahead of my workout. I'm gonna eat at about 9:30, and then I will work out at about 11:30. That's been what's working for me. So you do you. Some people do exercise fasted, so you can also not eat. It's going to be an answer based on individuality here. And then when it comes to after, I would suggest a high protein meal or just a protein shake or protein bar could be helpful, but it depends, because sometimes after workout you're not hungry at all. After workout sometimes you're really hungry. So again, it will depend on how you feel. And really the thing is, with fat loss and weightlifting, we're always trying to complicate it with you have to eat that, you can't eat that, you have to eat that before, not after, or after, not before. Fitness so depends on the individual that I don't think there is a one size fits all, especially when it comes to fat loss. Like if you're not training for performance per se, if you're not an athlete who's trying to get, point something grams of carbs per day to get to their 3 hours of running, if you're not training for that, which I feel like most people who are watching me here are not, you're fine with whatever works for you. How to stop cravings. I love this one. So I have a video again on how to lose weight without feeling hungry, or at least how to manage hunger. And hunger and cravings are pretty much interchangeable, not that well, but my point is the things you do to prevent hunger are the things you can do to prevent cravings. So I would really suggest that you watch this video. Off the top of my head, sleeping enough, managing your blood glucose, which often translates to having a savory breakfast and taking apple cider vinegar before a healthy carb meal. 75-25 rule, and I think it would be good in terms of these cravings. I think it's glutamine you often find in cottage cheese actually helps with cravings, so that's an extra tip that you will not find in the how to manage your hunger video. All right, this is a question I get every single day. And I hate to answer it because, again, it depends. How many calories should I eat per day to lose weight? It depends on your height, weight, age, and level of activity, as well as body fat percentage. You can do very well with just the first 4. The 5th one does play a heavy role, but you can do very well with just the 4. So you want to do that, you go on any calorie calculator online. I like the NASM body weight planner, but whatever works for you, I'm happy with that. Enter the info I mentioned both, so height, weight, age, and level of activity. That's going to give you a number, which is your rough maintenance, okay? Your body is not a machine. Some days you burn more, some days you'll burn less. As you lose weight, you'll burn less. Your body will require less energy to function properly. Then, off of that, you want to calculate a 10 to 15% deficit, not more. That's the sweet spot to minimize cravings and maximize fat loss. So that's pretty much where you want to be at. 10 to 15% deficit will get you way further than trying to do any crash diet. And it's also going to ensure that you are losing fat and not weight, water weight, food weight, anything else weight. So yeah, that's why I can't give you a number, because, for example, one of my clients, she's very petite and her maintenance is not even my deficit. Like it would be 20%, if not more, of my deficit. So that's how you can see, like I'm tall and she's obviously quite small and I love her. She's super cute, amazing woman. But the point is, since she is smaller, that means that her maintenance is lower than mine, because my body requires more energy to move around and do all of this than her. And that makes sense. That's why it's not a cookie cutter answer. It's going to depend on all of that. Let's keep talking about calories and macros. The next question is, do macros matter on a calorie deficit? I'm going to answer exactly what I tell my clients. In the order of importance, you've got the calorie deficit, proteins, fat, everything else. Actually, it could even be calorie deficit, protein, everything else. The 2 most important things in terms of nutrition for you to lose fat and, have a positive experience and not feel miserable is being in a small enough deficit, but efficient, and getting 1.2 to 1.8 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. That is the sweet spot that will maximize fat loss and, ensure that you keep your lean body mass and overall that you are able to have a great life while still losing weight. My point with that is that the rest doesn't matter. Don't worry about how much fat should I eat, how much carbs should I eat, when should I eat it. Don't worry about that. I have some clients who ask me how much fiber, sugar. Don't worry about that. If you can reduce sugar, amazing. But this is not, at the moment, especially when we start, my main focus is getting you into the habit of tracking, the habit of being in a deficit, and then potentially getting your protein. And then we're going to talk about fat, fibers and all of that. But it's a slow process and it's a progressive process. I don't want fitness to be overwhelming. I don't want it to feel like a second full-time job, none of that. So this is why it's so key to not worry too much about, should I take this, how much of this, how much of that, how much salt, how much magnesium, all of that. Yes, these are all, data and metrics that are important, and that, having a little bit more or a little bit less could actually make you feel better. But if you're only about fat loss, like this question was about, because it mentions the calorie deficit, the only thing that matters is the deficit in itself and then the amount of protein. Once you have these 2 in check, you've got a smooth sailing ahead. What are your thoughts on fasting? I like intermittent fasting in the sense that it's very easy for me at least, to skip breakfast or to have a later breakfast, like a brunch. That's something that I like doing. When I wake up, I don't feel hungry. I wake up at 7:30. I don't feel hungry before 9:30, 10. Sometimes I don't mind eating at 12, One of my clients, what I talked about last week, I made an entire video on basically the strategy and how I adapted it to fit her life and to get her the results, was on an intermittent fasting aspect, because she didn't want to count and it was easier for her to skip a meal. So she would skip dinner because she loves her breakfast, and it was easy for her to skip dinner. She didn't feel that hungry in the evening, so that's what we worked with. And the point with that is that it's very, again, easy to adapt to everyone, but she felt like it was easier for her to not eat that specific meal than to have to reduce her other meals. or her meals in general. So that's where we landed on. She gave it a try for a week and then she said that it was great. It could be a very good thing to try if that works for you. Some people don't feel good if they skip breakfast. Some people cannot go to bed hungry. Some people can't do both. And at the end of the day, it's always going to be the calorie deficit that matters in the fat loss process. So intermittent fasting may work for you. It's not necessary. It's not the diet that is going to completely revolutionize, the way you lose fat. I have 2 more questions that are a bit more about mindset. The first one is, how did you get the motivation to keep going? And the very easy answer to that is I was seeing results. From my cut of November, December 2023, 3 weeks in, I was seeing amazing results, especially around my waist. And that's basically the motivation to keep going. I also had a strong support system in place, meaning that I had a friend picking me up every Tuesday and Thursday to go to the gym, so I could not avoid that. And that's basically the 2 things. Like, I had a support system and I was seeing results. And also I was posting on social, obviously on Instagram, I was posting a lot about my cut, what I was eating and how it was going. So that was also my accountability. So I recommend trying to find that as well. A lot of people find that getting a coach is actually really good to get them into that accountability system. So you can give that a try. Also, a very common misconception is that I have to be motivated, when in fact it turned to be who I was and a part of my lifestyle. And almost the easiest part of my day was to go work out. And it was easy for me to plan my meals and to just follow the plan. And it was just a part of who I was, and it still is a part of who I am. I work out because I love that. I genuinely couldn't live, I would go crazy if I wasn't able to work out, to go for a run at least once a week and go to the gym at least once per week. I would go crazy. So that's my minimum. And I absolutely love that twice per week is my minimum. If you make your plan around your lifestyle, if you make your plan be something that you definitely enjoy, that's when it gets so easy to keep on going. And the last question we have is about struggling with consistency. And I feel it's very tied to the previous question in the sense that hold on, I made an entire video on how to stay consistent. So I highly suggest you watch that. But it's very tied to the fact of seeing results, having a plan that works for you, having a support system. All of these little things actually help you stay consistent. And if you're struggling with that, you just want to ask yourself, is it because I don't like the plan I have? Most often is because you don't like the plan. And of course, if you don't like the plan, you're not going to want to do it, and you're going to skip it, and you're going to fall off wagon and never want to get back. And I think that was pretty much it. I could probably do a part 2 because I get so many questions on a daily and they're getting very specific. So I might make a part 2. Let me know in the comments if you want me to. And in the meantime, if you are someone who wants to lose 20+ pounds within 90 days without starving yourself, without spending hours on the treadmill or cooking, without saying goodbye to your favorite food, and of course, without gaining the weight back right after the process is over, I highly suggest you apply down below for one-on-one coaching. I've done it myself. I do it with clients, so why not you? And if you do everything that I say, if you follow the plan and nothing works, I will refund you in full. This is how confident I am that my method works. And that was pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.